I told my team, we're going to bring the Dan Campbell approach. Now, we all know that Dan Campbell, a few years ago, when he took that podium and he gave that first press conference, he looked into that camera and he didn't dwell on 2 or 3 decades of failure. He said, by gosh, we've got to fix this thing, and we're going to do it putting together the right team with a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of hard work. And if Dan Campbell turned around the Lions, we can turn around the state of Michigan, but it's going to take a lot of hard work, and we're going to have to do it working together. I nor anybody can do it alone. And any politician that stands before you and says, I'm going to do it, they're not being truthful to themselves and not being truthful to you. We've got to do it working together.
Amen. And I agree with you 100% with we have to have somebody with a vision who actually can get things done, because I think a lot of people are just kind of burned out and frustrated. Obviously, today's political climate is very polarizing, and we need some kind of folks in here with some leadership skills and the grit. We're talking about the Lions and the vision to do it. You spent 6 years, right, in the legislature, including Speaker of the House, obviously. So some people might look at that and say, oh man, he's part of the swamp. Other people like myself say, hey, he has experience in Lansing. Okay. So how does your on the ground experience in Lansing, we're talking about, compare to some of the other candidates, kind of like John James, who has military experience, very small business experience, but really no background in legislating here in the state of Michigan? What's going to differentiate you from that candidate?
Yeah, so before I went to the legislature, I was a prosecutor in the city of Flint. It was the best job I ever had, and I'd love to talk about that more as this goes on. But I was a drug prosecutor. Got to go out on the streets with the officers. It was an incredible experience. Worked a couple years in the Attorney General's office, and then was recruited by my local senator and sheriff to run for the legislature back in 2012. But in terms of separation, I would say a couple of things. Okay. And I know, 2017 was an eternity, but I'll give you a couple of examples of things that I did to demonstrate that I was not afraid to take on Lansing. And then I'll talk about a few accomplishments. But first and foremost, don't forget, if everybody remembers the late and great Gary Glenn, who was a dear friend of mine. This guy was Mr. Conservative. Okay.
Great guy.
I appointed him to be chair of the Energy Committee.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I took a lot of heat by doing that, because he was not friendly to the utilities at the time. But I knew that we needed somebody like Gary who was going to hold not just the utilities, but hold everybody accountable and really push that free market agenda. I was not afraid to do that.